Henshin Inspection presents Writer Tears. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Prepare yourself for some biting Kamen Rider analysis. My grandmother said this: you have to be kind to be strong. Now, let's go writer chat. So, Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 9 sure was a thing that happened. And I'm reeling from it because I don't really know what to say, where to go. I thought this was a fun episode. I noticed that Sachika's involvement in it was very limited. This is a part of the weird trend for Tokusatsu to have Halloween episodes. I remember Gokaiger, I think I remember Gokaiger had one. I don't think Forze, which ran kind of concurrently with Gokaiger, I don't think Forze had a Halloween episode at all. Wait, maybe, I can't remember. They all dressed up at some point as like the classic 7 riders, but that might have been for other reasons. They might have been doing a play or something instead, but it could have been a play done at Halloween time. I don't know. I don't think it was Halloween. But anyway, other than it being kind of funny this was a Halloween episode, I thought it was interesting. I thought it kind of broke with what we've seen so far, or what we've come to understand so far of the lore, that this lollipop, unless it's something they talked about with his mom that he doesn't say explicitly in this episode, maybe it'll come out next episode, shouldn't be something that triggers his memory for him and shouldn't make the little Gochizo for it, unless we don't fully understand the mechanism behind the Gochizo production. And I guess for that matter, we don't really understand the mechanism for the minion or agent's production from the Stomach family or the Stomach Inc. People. You know, where those agents come from. We assume they come from their belts. I think we've seen them come from their belts, but we don't know what they're eating to produce those guys. Are they eating fellow Granutes? Are they eating humans? Are they eating whatever Granute food exists? I don't really know. It sounded like Shoma and his mother wouldn't eat the standard Granute food. They ate grass and things like that instead, and that's pretty weird. You know, most people don't eat grass. It's not the greatest thing to eat. And anyway, so it's really curious. I want to say it's kind of like a plot hole, but it's also something that we just don't know enough about currently for me to be able to say definitively, oh yeah, this is a problem, or this is, an inaccuracy in the show. And I don't think it is an inaccuracy. I think it's just something I'm not aware of 100%. So that was kind of something I was not happy with. I also kind of wasn't happy with the fact that it seems like Shita and Jeeb were going to be completely cut off from the family, and now they've been given the second chance. And I know that's how it can go with family sometimes, with the family business. But it's a little disappointing because I was hoping they would be cut off from the family and then we'd get to see them operating on their own, or, having to develop some story on their own, or I don't know, I guess they could just go get other jobs somewhere in the Granite world. They wouldn't have to necessarily become like more plot relevant. They could just kind of disappear from the story and that would be okay. And I also kind of wonder if they can manifest these agents from their stomachs, their belts, their bodies, whatever, their gobs, I guess, like that would imply that they have a certain level of power too innate in them. And you would think that they'd be able to fight and they'd be able to transform and fight. And that isn't happening. And it's kind of funny that it isn't, and we don't quite know why. So I don't quite get that, and I wonder exactly why they're not doing that. I wonder if that's something that we'll see as they're, fully fired and not able to be part of the company anymore. Is that something that they'll do in desperation? Is that going to open us up to new storytelling possibilities? Is that going to open us up to new dimensions of their characters to see? Or will they just fall off and become irrelevant? It's hard to know. Especially because they're just part of a business and they're just doing, not just, their business is killing people and turning them into food, which it seems like is illegal in their world. So they're running some sort of shady illegal business, but they could just run off and do something else. But then again, if they're these craven, desperate criminals, they probably wouldn't want to do that because they're probably profiting off of this illegal business and don't want to go, work. There's probably not a lot of jobs out there unless you want to work 40 hours a week. So, that could be a problem for them. So yeah, that was a little weird. I liked Hanto investigating. I felt it was a little creepy. It was funny that the little girls um, pulled the little siren and ran from him because they thought he was a kidnapper or something. And he did kind of give off weird vibes. And then like as time went on, then he's just like hanging out with this little girl, and that was a little weird to me. And I almost thought the other kid that gave I don't know, the main girl that he was talking to, the main dance girl who's not so great. Um, I kind of thought the girl who gave her the Madeline was her friend that had pulled the cord actually, and thought he was the kidnapper and that she was going to say something. And whether or not that it was her, uh, it would kind of have made sense for her to say like, "Who's this adult man you're talking to over here?" It's kind of weird. Um, but yeah, that's kind of strange. Um, the the stomachache joke with her dance teacher was weird. I did notice. I mean, that belly band was super conspicuous, and I can understand why he went after him and why it was a red herring. I don't really see why the Madeline shop was like such a like a key um, site. Like I'm not sure. I mean, Madeleines are good. They're one of my favorite cookies, but I don't know how I don't know how that's connected necessarily to the people going under the tunnel and getting taken. Is it just that the shop is by the tunnel, so people are distracted eating it and they feel, that adrenaline or dopamine rush of getting sugar in their bodies, sugar and fat together in a tasty little package? Is that all it is? Because that seems like kind of a flimsy thing to be, hitching your horse to and saying, oh yeah, this is like a guaranteed surefire way to get people. And I know, just thought that was kind of odd. So I sound like I'm complaining. I'm pointing out some flaws or some issues that I'm seeing in the episode. However, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I thought it was very interesting. I liked kind of like, I don't know, the little girl who wants to be the idol, like her saying like, oh, she's cutting back on sweets because she wants to be an idol, so she doesn't want to be fat, and then have to struggle with, keeping herself in, good shape to be ogled by people and whatnot. Sorry. It's kind of what idols do, right? Or it's what people do with idols, I guess you could say. Um, and then like her accepting the Madeline and going ahead and eating it and saying, "Oh, I've worked hard, I deserve this." I thought it was kind of interesting because like you shouldn't just eat stuff randomly. Like the Yakuza kind of guy. Where did he go? Huh? Where did he go? He hasn't come back. He was saying like, yeah, you should have special foods as like a treat, and it's not like an everyday thing, and you can't run off of that. You need like good, solid nutrition. And it almost felt kind of like they were saying something similar with the little idol girl, but then maybe not at the same time. I don't know. It felt kind of weird. I was a little conflicted about it. But I definitely like that they seeded that Hanto has this, relationship with her or whatever. And he, had promised to go see her at the park the next day. And it sure seems like this Grand Newt is going to attack her at the park where he was going to, which I don't know how he knew to find her at the park, that park in particular. I don't know if that's something I missed, if that's something that was not covered in the episode and that we'll see in the next episode, episode 10 or what, but that is kind of a strange thing. Huh. I don't really know about that, but that's okay. Anyway, I thought it was a good episode overall. I like Valen getting trounced a little bit, but I like him, making it out of the fight. And, well, I guess the other guy ran, but it's because he pulled a good tactic. He was able to get the upper hand, and that was good. And I like seeing him, like he's a more competent fighter now, but he's still struggling, and I think it's very good. I think it's very important for him to have that steeper learning curve than Shoma had. And yeah, this wild, tank of a form is really interesting with this, say Guncon? I can't remember what it's called, but this hard, peppermint candy lollipop thing form is really interesting, and it's a lot of fun. It's zany, it's crazy, and I can basically accept it and roll with it, but it's, I don't know, it's just like, I'm sure it's going to go away, and it's not going to be important later on, even though it's such a tank now, and it feels kind of silly to introduce such a powerful thing now, especially because it probably won't be that big of a deal in the future. That's kind of one of the things that bothers me about the modern Kamen Rider shows, is that they have to have these toys and they have to have these things in here, and it's just, they're so throwaway and disposable, and, they're kind of like junk food, but, people go for junk food. So it makes sense that they would do it. They Toei Bandai wants that money, and they're going to get it no matter how, or any way they can. So Anyway, let me know what you thought about the episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feelings on it, because I felt like it was a good, solid episode, but it wasn't amazing. There were amazing things in it, but it wasn't like the greatest thing like a lot of the episodes. Like the first 8 episodes have been really fantastic. This one was pretty good. And hopefully the next one's even better. I hope you enjoyed that. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I invite you to comment, ask questions, and share your thoughts with me. It's always more fun when you're part of the conversation. Until next time, be well and do good things. Visit mjmunoz.com for more of my work and help me build up the Fortress Fiction.